So do you ever have clients come in that are having bilateral something? Bilateral numbness, bilateral pain. Anytime they come in and it's down both legs or into both hips, it's a whole different ball game. There are only a few things it can be at that point. You have to eliminate a whole bunch of stuff in your head. Because it's on both sides, and we know the right side of the brain controls the left side, all the nervous system on this side, and so typically like sciatica will be one-sided, right? So when you have bilateral sciatica or bilateral numbness, numbness is the worst possible condition, persistent numbness is the worst possible condition you can have, you got to think differently. So if it's numbness, one of the first things I think of is spinal stenosis. So what's spinal stenosis? It's where calcium builds up in and around the spinal cord. The spinal cord gets, the cavity gets smaller and it starts pushing on the cord, just kind of barely rubbing on the dural membrane. But listen, that dural membrane is Latin for tough mother. And it's thick and it's tough. So don't worry about the dural membrane. Nerve roots are a little more delicate. Dural membrane isn't. So we're going to use that dural membrane to try to mobilize some of that calcium in and around the spine to see if we can help this numbness, persistent numbness these people have, particularly in your elderly. Here's the setup. They're side lying like this, and I'm actually going to pull MJ just a little bit closer to me. Here's how you pull him closer. You get around, under, this hand's under here, and I just pull him over the table like that. Don't move this other stuff. You got to keep that lumbar lordosis in there, right? Okay, so then we come to the end of the table right here. I'm going to keep her square on the table by doing this. Just make sure she's nice and straight on the table. That's ultimately the most important thing before you do this setup. The rest of it is absolutely simple and effective. Brace yourself here, whatever's comfortable, depending on the size of the person. Get your right knee up there and simply do this. Counter rotation. Just real gently rocking. What's that doing? It's making each one of those lumbar vertebrae rotate in opposition to one another, which helps break down some of that calcium that's forming inside that canal. And I will do maybe, I don't know, 30 reps of this, just gently. I don't ever put a lot of pressure, just real gently, about 30 times. And then I go to the other side and do the same thing. Try that with your people who are having bilateral numbness.